Wabag declared a war zone following tribal clashes. Minister questioned on unruly behaviour of soldiers. And construction begins for hospital staff accommodation.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Friday's news. Wabag district in Enga province has been declared a fighting zone after two neighboring tribes refused to stop fighting. The two tribes are the Key tribe of Teramand and the Kal tribe of Amala village near Wabag town. At least 14 people from both sides are dead and a soldier sustained bullet wounds after the joint security forces intervened to try to stop the fighting.
Enga Provincial Police Commander George Kakas said the fight started on the 6th of May this year. The Kala tribe alleged that the neighboring Key tribe trespasses a disputed land. 6 people from the Kala tribe were confirmed dead and 7 from the Key side, with 3 unconfirmed deaths.
Trees were cut, chassis of all vehicles were towed onto the road, stones were put in several places. So the security forces couldn't really intervene to go back and forth and let our CID do the actual body count injury.
The PNG Defence Force from Moem Barracks were called in to intervene and stop the fight when a soldier was shot. This has prompted the police and Enga Provincial Government Peace and Good Order Committee to declare Wabag a fighting zone. This has given special powers to the police to arrest any suspicious person or shoot anybody if their lives are at threat.
We now can arrest without any restriction, just by mere suspicion, of somebody being in the battlefield, or just by mere suspicion of the person committing an offence. We can just have him arrested, charged and locked up in the cells and transported to the jail.
PPC Kakas said peace talks have proven to be unsuccessful, so they have taken tougher measures to cease the tribal fighting. The two tribes were also involved in the fighting of the Kandep seat declaration last year in Wabag. PPC Kakas is calling on their leaders to intervene and stop the fighting. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
To Parliament stories now, and the behaviour of soldiers and the way in which the PNG Defence Force has addressed issues was raised in Parliament today. In particular, the recent attack of a doctor by a PNGDF personnel. Member for Ijivitari, Richard Masere, questioned the Defence Minister if there were systems in place to avoid such incidents reoccurring.
Question from me, Golo Minister, is that what action is the PNG Defence Force taking to minimize or mitigate this incident from not happening again, and what kind of control mechanisms or programs or by running inside the army to make sure that we don't have a repeat of this situation again in the future? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Minister for Defence, when responding to the member for Ijivitari, condemned the action of the soldier.
Condemning display actions in the strongest term.
Minister Merisim went on to say that the soldier had been arrested by military police and handed over to the RPNGC, charges to be laid against him.
And he's been transferred to civil police, and now he's, as I'm speaking, is a Mr. Lockup of Boroko Police. Now, all investigating him, so he's going to be charged.
He explained that the PNGDF has a one-strike policy in place to avoid such incidents. But the soldier who attacked the doctor had been involved in another attack on a civilian a few years back. But the minister said he is unaware of how the soldier was reinstated and said he would ensure that this particular soldier would never join the PNGDF again.
Time you follow force, you must. Time you see discipline, you must respect. All money nagat kupla heta solba igo hetna. Respect la na plamanta solba igo na paiti na plaman. Or a security force officer like him. So me play fully investigated. Na me play wet law, working decision. So me appeal long doctor associations. Now also family blood is blah. Doctor, awesome. But me plug go down straight. Lo make so this particular officer is dismissed once and for all.
Adelaide Siraks Kari, National MTV News.
Still in Parliament, member for Samarai Murua, E.C. Henry Leonard, was urged to concentrate on discussing issues affecting people in his electorate and let the police and courts do their job. This from Prime Minister Peter O'Neill when responding to a series of questions regarding piracy in the Samarai Murua electorate.
What a charging and arrest of the former member and alleged compliance and beneficiary of the piracy type raid and stealing from the impounded Vietnamese vessel has to be referred to the vetting committee, whilst everybody else was charged in the normal way.
Samarai Murua member E.C. Henry Leonard's question regarded the conduct of his predecessor Gordon Wesley. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, in response, told Mr. Leonard to allow police and courts carry out their duties regarding allegations of the involvement of the former Samarai Murua MP. These allegations related to the vandalizing and stealing of properties on the Vietnamese vessel that was impounded in Milne Bay in 2016. Mr. O'Neill said the charges and allegations stated by the member for Samarai Murua under parliamentary privilege in the chamber is a police matter that has been investigated, and so let the police and courts address this issue.
Mr. Speaker, we are quite happy to work with the member for Samarai Murua. Let's talk about issues that affect our people, and elections are over, as I always say. So let's focus on that and let the police and the agencies of the courts do their job, and not on this floor of Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Florence John Duo, National MTV News.
Teachers throughout the country are yet to receive the 3% pay increase, which was supposed to come into effect in 2017. Member for Madang, Brian Kramer, today raised in Parliament the question of when this would come into effect.
Throughout the country are still waiting for the 3% pay rise, which is yet to be fulfilled since 2017. Member for Madang, Brian Kramer, questioned the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Treasury, Charles Abel, to make aware to the teachers of the expected time of the 3% increase.
The teachers represent some 57,000, largest sector in our public service. Their role is perhaps one of the most important as we entrust them with our future generation. And so when we continue to make statements of pay increase and get them all excited that they know that they will be recognized for their hard work to look after our kids and future generation, and yet we have yet to honor that commitment.
In response, Mr. Abel said the Cabinet has given directions to Treasury, Finance and Personal Management to come up with a payment scheme to make sure this commitment is fulfilled.
We have made those arrangements, Mr. Speaker, and we are responding to Cabinet to ensure that those commitments, particularly 2017 outstanding, and of course to catch up into 2018, are fulfilled before the end of the year and before the important events such as APEC happen. We've factored it into our resourcing, and we will fulfill those commitments to our teachers and also the police and other obligations to the public servants in general in relation to the 3% commitment for 2017 and 2018. So we will pay those primarily in 2018, but some will flow into 2019 as per the negotiations with the unions.
Florence John Duo, National MTV News.
Incomplete roadworks was an issue brought up in Parliament today. This time, Regional Member for Bougainville, Joe Lera, wanted to know the status of road construction on the main island of Bougainville as contractors had ceased to work. He asked the Minister for Works, Michael Nally, if it was a funding issue and if the government has any funding in place to allow contractors to resume work.
The O'Neill government's commitment to rebuilding Bougainville saw numerous road contracts given out, including the Buka Island Ring Road.
Emikisim long time to mas. Also Ramason Hydro Power, Arawa Toy Manapu Ceiling, Toy Manapu Kangu Ceiling, Natu lo completing Buka Ring Road. All these projects, government yet tendering through all the process, or awarding contracts. But to date, only no all contractors start, that's all only withdrew.
The Minister for Works, Michael Nally, said he wouldn't hide the truth and that funding was hindering contractors.
You know, one plus something blow me law. I think my team na kind of same. Me or some Minister blow works. Work blow me long working work. Time money come inside long accounts blow me blah. So lo two big contractors lo Bougainville. This year me pay more leak. Money go to leak or some meaning or some 2-3 million kina mark.
Minister Nally said the contract for Bougainville Road totaled to 400 million kina, and he is in discussion with the finance department to have funds available.
Sit down with them finance department, low working sample allocation, low Bougainville roads especially. So as soon as we like some sample money from finance, hopefully we should secure some money. Bambla pay more contractors now. All by go back and working work. At the moment.
Adelaide Xerox Kari, National EMTV News.
Here with Friday's news, APEC members begin free trade discussions, new developments at Engau Hospital, and BSP conducts its AGM. Those stories and more when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Friday's news. Following the second senior officials meetings, trade ministers from APEC economies convened this morning for the 24th Ministers Responsible for Trade meeting. The two-day meeting will allow for a dialogue on free trade in the region and the challenges that may come with it.
The ministers gathered this morning with the resolve to send a message of solidarity to the global economy, that the APAC region believes in a free, fair, non-discriminatory and inclusive multilateral trading system. Additionally, with the advent of technology, another issue on the agenda is digital trade and the new set of challenges this could present.
The issue of digital trade, e-commerce or e-trade are creating more opportunities for our SMEs, but also present a new set of challenges for the MES. We need to find the balance between the facilitation of free flow of data while protecting consumer data and security. We need to work together to better manage these challenges. To ensure we leave no one behind, we need to keep our markets open and make necessary investments to develop our domestic infrastructure and our human resource to ensure that the benefits from open and free markets are diffused to all segments of society.
When addressing the visiting ministers, Minister Pato urged the individual governments to remain committed to inclusive economic growth.
Our individual governments should remain committed to ensuring that the most vulnerable people, youths, women and girls, and people with disabilities are included in the pursuit of economic growth.
Leanne Jarari, National EMTV News.
Security has been stepped up at the venue of the Trade Ministers meeting for APEC 2018, the International Convention Centre. This morning, dog specialists from the NCD Dog Unit conducted thorough searches on cameras and other equipment before media personnel were allowed to use them. This footage shows Constable Vincent Mego leading his partner, police dog Baxpa, to sniff all equipment for bombs or other explosives. Similar searches will be made whenever a conference is called or when media personnel are allowed into meeting venues to take pictures or conduct interviews. This is all part of APEC security protocols led by the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. To Kilauea Province now, and contractors have begun work on new accommodation for staff at the Engau Hospital in Lae. After 2 years of trying to get the project off the ground, the hospital decided to begin working on the project in stages with initial funding for the hospital.
This is the site of the new project. It will help ease Engau's housing problems. The hospital management initially had difficulty implementing the project. They've received approval from the Provincial Supply and Tenders Board and have proceeded to build in stages.
12 houses at a cost of roughly 5 million kina, funded for by Engau, with funding from the national government. We're looking forward to getting this done as quickly as possible.
The housing project is part of Engau's redevelopment program. which will also see a modern hospital built on the site. Funding has also been allocated for a cancer treatment center, but it will take some time before the full redevelopment is realized.
It's hard to run services without funds, not just healthcare, but anything.
On top of all the funding problems, the hospital also has to deal with a new law that allows for the government to take 90% of the revenue from state-owned agencies. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Leh.
Governor-General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai officially opened the 50th Baha'i National Convention in Leh today. Witnessed by almost 200 Baha'i followers, this annual event gathers members to elect the National Spiritual Assembly. Rodney Hancock, a New Zealander who introduced the faith to PNG in 1954, was also present to witness the ceremony.
Mr. Hancock was 38 years old when he witnessed the first Baha'i National Convention here in Leh in 1968.
We didn't have so many delegates because it was very small and first one, and there was just a few from the islands and the highlands. And when we got together, all the highlands delegates came, they all had bows and arrows. And I thought, hey, one name kind there. All of those.
He came to PNG in July 1954 from New Zealand to establish a Baha'i community. The pioneer has attended 49 of the faith's national conventions.
This is my home after nearly 50 years living here.
For the first time in decades, a political head of the country, the Governor-General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai, today officially opened the 50th convention. The Governor-General also unveiled a miniature model of the Baha'i National House of Worship that will be constructed in Port Moresby soon and will be used by all religions.
On the shores of our land, so yes, once again.
He said the weaving design is common throughout PNG that represents unity, which is the main principle of the faith. PNG's Secretary of the Baha'i National Spiritual Assembly, Confucius Ikorera, thanked the Governor-General and Lady Hannah for being part of the celebration today. He said the delegates will soon elect the 9 new assembly members and will also consult on their community-building activities in the country. These activities include spiritual education programs for children, youth and adults.
Because the faith is for everyone, The revelation of Baha'u'llah is for everyone, not just for Baha'is. So these programs are important for us to involve the communities in.
Julie Badui Owa, National MTV News, Leh.
The PNG Women's Business Resource Centre has helped over 700 women establish and strengthen their businesses since it opened in November of 2016. Over 70 technical and vocational training programs have been offered, and women benefit from the centre through business skills training, mentoring and networking events.
Yesterday, over 15 aspiring business women who are members of the PNG Women's Business Resource Centre gathered for their focus group event. This event was held in 2 separate 90-minute sessions for the lower literacy group and higher literacy group.
Our users to honestly and frankly give their feedback without us saying, do you like us or don't you like us? We want to get some direct feedback on what aren't you seeing here. We know that we're servicing the different industries in terms of if people are business owners, business managers, they have an idea, they want to start a business. So we've been trying to establish different varieties of, things like how to plan your business, how to do risk analysis, how to do due diligence, how to network.
During the first session, it was evident that literacy is a major challenge for aspiring business women. Facilitators Margaret Ayla and Ellie Webb discussed with the women how they can improve the center to cater for their needs. Most of the women asked for more life skills training, which facilitators made note of. However, all of them mentioned that the center enhanced their knowledge of starting and growing their businesses. During the second session with the higher literacy members, most of them said they used the center mainly for networking events and the great internet services provided.
We spoke to, we have a very high illiteracy level in Papua New Guinea, and so we needed to make sure that we weren't just speaking to people, one, that can speak English, and two, that have completed grade 10 or grade 12 or university. So you would have observed that the first group we had this morning were either functional literacy, so no higher than grade 3, or hadn't attended school at all. But, hugely skilled, clever women that don't have a voice. So it was really good to get some direct feedback from them, for them to be able to talk about their different industries. You would have heard some of the testimonials there about, I want to do this, but...
The center has served over 700 women since it opened in 2016 through the business skills training, mentoring, and networking events. It provides information and resources that allows women of all backgrounds within NCD to access vital resources for economic empowerment. This center is a joint venture of the U.S. and Australian governments. Lilian Soperakinea, National EMTV News.
2 remote elementary schools along the Kokoda track have received new education facilities from the Australian government. Through the Kokoda initiative, on Wednesday, Manari and Boridi elementary schools now have new double classrooms. These facilities provide students with a better learning environment.
The new classrooms were handed over to the 2 elementary schools this week. With these new facilities, over 100 students attending Manari and Boridi elementary schools can now benefit directly from their newly built double classrooms.
The children, to be honest, the children really enjoy, from the dust ground. Now they can sit properly on the desk and they can write and they learn better than the ground. Because when you sit on the ground, the children restless and they don't enjoy. Yeah. But now they are sitting on the desk, they really enjoy it and they love it.
Minister Councillor from the Australian High Commission, Andrew Egan, was on hand to open these buildings. He said, through the Kokoda initiative, Australia is partnering with the government of PNG to deliver health and education infrastructure in support of delivery of basic services to remote communities along the Kokoda track. For Boridi Elementary, the new classroom is the first permanent school building. Manari also received a new staff house, which will be occupied by the school principal.
Accommodation. That comfortable accommodation simply means that teacher is able to do what he wants to do. He's motivated indirectly, or he or she is motivated indirectly, sleeping in a comfortable house. And this part of the country, it is rare to have such houses like this we just opened.
These new facilities will not only benefit the 2 villages, but also nearby villages of Milei, Daoi, and Kagi.
Praising God and rejoicing to be Papua.
Lilian Soperakinea, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. We go for a break now. When we come back, some stories making headlines overseas. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. A strong focus on customers has been attributed as the continued success of Bank South Pacific. This was emphasized today at the bank's annual general meeting. Although recently expanding to offer asset financing and insurance, the bank's shareholders have been told the focus on improving banking services to customers will remain at the core of BSP's business. At BSP's annual general meeting in Port Moresby today, shareholders were given an overview of the bank's performance in 2017. Among the highlights, a net profit after tax of 757 million kina, an increase of 113.5 million kina from the previous year's results. According to BSP Chairman Sekostas Constantino, these results demonstrate the strong position of BSP in the market.
I mean, the share prices, investors don't overnight just get up and start buying shares and going up. They buy for a reason. They buy because it's a profitable, a very extremely profitable organization. And you know, the other great thing about BSP, most of our managers, all our people are Papua New Guineans and the Solomon Islands. Eventually, you know, we will have all country managers.
With BSP expanding its reach into the Pacific and also through the Asian market through BSP Finance in Cambodia, the bank is confident it can be able to grow its business more in the short to medium term.
We put our money where our mouth is. We back our product. A lot of these banks don't. And the same thing happens in places like Cambodia. But we are a retail bank. We get out, we expand, we service the people.
Whilst BSP has expanded its services, it has also emphasized that it is also continually improving services to its customers, who remain at the core of the bank's success. The model to go rural has seen BSP become a leader in this market in PNG, and despite several other financial institutions recently announcing their intentions to go rural as well, BSP remains confident it can withstand the competition.
We have 44 branches around the country and 44 sub-branches in every province, in every district. We're very, very committed to having as many physical points of representation as possible to ensure that customers, existing customers, future customers can come to a branch, go through that education process. I know we all want digital. We want to get them enrolled in digital banking, want to get them enrolled in mobile banking. But as a first start, for many of them, it will be a basic bank account, give them access to mobile, but they still want to come in and do deposits for our branch.
To the region now and in Hawaii, where US Marine helicopters are being sent in as isolated communities are being further threatened by the Kilauea Volcano. Officials say a large-scale evacuation may need to take place.
This new and rare footage, eerie blue methane flames, perhaps another ominous warning for residents on Hawaii's Big Island. Threading its way through the charred pavement, scientists say the gas can cause explosions when trapped underground. Experts say there's still activity at Kilauea's summit. There's been smaller eruptions and ash plume shooting more than 2 kilometres into the sky. There's also been a 3.9 magnitude earthquake at the summit. On Thursday, a third lava flow started pouring into the sea. The threat to a geothermal power plant has decreased, but it's the risk to human life that continues to be a focus. More than 40 homes have been destroyed, around 2,000 people remain under evacuation orders, and plans are being prepared in case others need to leave. As lava spews and toxic gases choke the island, there's no end in sight. Kilauea's violence proving damaging and potentially deadly.
Here with National EMTV News, we go for a break now. When we come back in Trukai Sports, guest speaker for SP Sports Awards arrives. The PNG Mosquitoes confident of another crowning, and Lace Next Tigers visit sick kids. Those stories and more in Trukai Sports when we come back. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Australian Jackie Cooper, a champion in the sport of aerial skiing for 20 years, will be the guest speaker at the SP Sports Awards tomorrow. Jackie, who has won many awards, including 5 world titles, arrived in Port Moresby today. She has been described as the greatest aerial skier of all time. In a long and decorated career, she has competed in 139 World Cup events, 9 World Championships, and is the first Australian woman to compete in the Summer and Winter Olympics. And she had a message to all the SP Awards, Sports Awards finalists.
Everyone has a champion attitude behind their preparation, their performance, working together as a team, achieving your goals, and not everyone can win. So it's about trying to do your very best, and if your best is a 3rd or a 4th place, then you have to be completely satisfied with the effort that you've put in, because that's your ultimate performance. I think it's important to actually showcase, being a woman, and well, for me in Australia, I came from a small sport, a skiing sport, which it's not big there, and I took on the world. And so really the message for me to be able to give anyone from any country, it doesn't matter where you're from, if you've got a big passion, a drive, determination, you can be the best you can be, regardless of being a male or a female. You can go out there and be great.
Winners of the 2017 AFL International Cup, the PNG Mosquitoes, are one of the finalists for the Team of the Year category in the 2018 SP Sports Awards. The Mosquitoes had previously won the Team of the Year at the Sports Awards in 2014 after taking out the International Cup in 2013. This year, they're up against Rugby League's PNG Hunters and cricket's under-19 national team. According to AFL PNG Senior Operations Manager Rex Leka, the Mosquitoes are confident they can be crowned Team of the Year again when the award winners are announced tomorrow.
For the national men's AFL theme, the PNG Mosquitoes, this is their second nomination for Theme of the Year at the annual Sports Awards. Their nomination this year secured on the back of a strong performances against some top AFL playing nations at the 2017 International Cup title. In the ICT Grand Final, the Mosquitoes held their own, finishing strongly defeating New Zealand to bring the title back to PNG. Their win at the ICT capping off a big year for AFL PNG in 2017. At tomorrow's SB Sports Awards, AFL PNG are among finalists in 3 categories: Team of the Year, Sports Official of the Year, and Westpac Junior Male Athlete of the Year. In the Team of the Year category, the Mosquitoes are up against SB PNG Hunters and the National Under-19 National Cricket Team, the PNG Garamoots. Leka is confident AFL can cause an upset when the winner is announced tomorrow.
It's come around the second time now, back-to-back wins for the team, and with MVL at the back of the team. Our chances are they're looking very good. So hopefully on the night, the boys should maybe pull it out again this time.
Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
To Rugby League now, and the Lace Next Tigers team visited the children's ward at the Mount Hagen General Hospital this week. The team presented cartons of Navy biscuits to the children and 2 other organizations. Lace Next Tigers will take on Simbu Warriors this Sunday in Minj, Jiwaka Province.
The team visited the children's ward and gave 10 cartons of Navy biscuits, including gift packs. They also visited Mount Hagen Christian Academy Primary School and gave 50 cartons of Navy biscuits and taught the keen children ball drills. They also presented 940 cartons of Navy biscuits to Baisu Jail as their token of appreciation for being one of their major clients.
Na hand deliver mi sa biscuit lo all CIS Baisu lo dislamonin. So mi like talk thank you lo support mi pla. Keep us supporting the company Lay Biscuit. And
the team is in Mount Hagen to prepare for the match against Simbu Warriors this Sunday. The visit was in line with the PNG Rugby League Health Week. Coach Stanley Tappend said they are doing their part off the field to put smile on children's face as one of their community service. However, he admitted that Next Tigers had a bad start in Rugby League this year, and he is looking forward for the game this weekend before their last game next Sunday in Lae. Tappend said this weekend's game will be crucial and a must-win game for them.
We're very grateful and very honored to come here and share what we can and put a smile on, even if it's only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just to put a smile on the kids' faces.
Lay Biscuit Company, franchisee of Lace Next Tigers, spent almost 40,000 kina on the gift packs and biscuit cartons for the Health Week. Vasinata Yama, National MTV Sports, Mount Hagen.
The One Papua Warriors are on another quest to spread their awareness of Free West Papua through sport. They have been in training and will be competing in the London Nines tournament next month.
Most players have not been training with the team because they are currently playing in the PNG NRL competition. The team has been doing fundraisings to cater for airfares and other expenses before they travel to London.
So One Papua Warriors, our plans this year, we're planning to go to London for the London Nines in July. So that's why we're in preparations right now. So we've been training for the last month or so, raising funds as well, so we're hopefully going to be able to go to London and play in the Nines there.
A few of the players currently in training haven't played rugby league for a while and are slowly getting back into shape.
Yeah, training's been good. A few of the boys haven't played rugby in a while, They've people like Dick Knapp, a very experienced rugby league player, but he's been off for the last year. So, yeah, there's been a few boys that we've just been slowly getting back into shape, but otherwise it's been going really well.
They hope to also compete in the Kokomo Nines tournament in Brisbane, Australia, later this year.
Hopefully, depending on funds, we'll hopefully be able to get down to Brisbane as well. There's a Queensland Kokomo Nines in September, which we won 2 years ago. And a few PNG teams go down there. It's a PNG tournament, and so hopefully we'll be able to get to that one in Brisbane in September.
Since the start of their campaign, they have learnt a lot about the people and have plans to do more in their pursuit to make known the struggles faced by the West Papuans.
It's definitely been a very interesting experience. We've learned a lot about West Papua, about Papua New Guinea, about the relationship between the people in the two countries, and especially we've learned a lot about the power of sport and rugby league to be able to bring people together. So it's been, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's been a really good experience.
With the team consisting of players from West Papua and Papua New Guinea, the team name was recently changed from the West Papua Warriors to One Papua Warriors.
Basically, the reasoning behind that was we just wanted the team to reflect the fact that we were representing people from both sides, from West Papua and Papua New Guinea. The majority of the team are made up of PNG players. We're based in PNG, we train in PNG, but we support our brothers and sisters in West Papua. So we thought a name like One Papua would bring together both sides well. So
Elijah Levette, National EMTV Sports.
We go for a break now, but still ahead on Trukai Sports, we preview the NSL Grand Final, which will take place in Lae tomorrow. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To football now, and reigning National Soccer League champions Toti City FC will defend their premiership title against Besta PNG United in the 2018 NSL Grand Final tomorrow. Besta United will challenge Toti City for the premiership, while Madang takes on FC Morbe Wawens for the third and fourth playoff, which will be held at the Sir Ignatius Kilauea Stadium in Lae tomorrow.
The Sir Ignatius Kilauea Stadium in Lae Morobe Province is expected to be filled to capacity as the football-mad province gets ready to witness another football spectacle, the National Soccer League Grand Final. History will be made for the International Food Corporation sponsored side, Besta PNG United. Besta will line up against arguably the best side in the PNG Premier Soccer competition since Hekari United, Toti City FC in the 2018 NSL Grand Final. With 3 NSL Premiership titles in the bag, Toti City are clear favourites heading into tomorrow's match. The Under-23 Academy side, Besta PNG United, enters the match as the underdogs, and the clash will be the biggest match these youngsters have ever played in their career. Besta, for the first time after 8 years of participating in the PNG Premier Soccer competition, will test their might against a more experienced Toti City. However, both sides have met twice this year, with City victorious in Round 1 and Round 13. City are expected to play their full-strength squad with PNG representatives led by star striker Raymond Gunemba, Nigel Debinyaba, Obed Bika, the combination of Jacob Sabua, Emmanuel Simon, Ronald Warrison and Clement Willis. However, Besta's Ricky Waduna and Barty Carabin are their team's chances of causing an upset in the final. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
And that's it for Trukai Sports this evening. We go for a break now. When we come back, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Mostly fine for Daru, a shower or two expected in Port Moresby, Kerema and Popondetta. Rain and drizzles expected in Alotau. To the Momase region, some showers expected in Lae and Wau. Mostly fine weather expected for Madang, Wabag and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine for Lorengau, Kokopo and Rabaul, as well as in Kimbe. Mostly cloudy for Buka and brief showers expected in Kavieng. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Kundiawa, Goroka, Mendi and Wabag can expect a shower or two over the next 24 hours with early morning fog. So look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours, but first there is a strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point to Samarai Island to eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, and waters to Cape Vogel to Finchafen through Vitia Strait to Skasi Island to Long Island to Medang and Bogia, including the Coral Sea. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Yule Island, Hood Point, Samarai Island, and with waters of Finchafen through Vitias and Dampier Straits to CSE Island to Long Island to Medang to Bogia, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Island, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Samarai Island to Cape Vogel to Finchafen, seas 2 to 2.5 meters. And waters of Bogia to Wabag, Aitape, Vanimo to the northern PNG Indonesian border, and with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and waters of New Britain to New Ireland and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. And a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea sees rough with southeasterly winds at 25 to 34 knots. Solomon Sea sees slight to moderate with southeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Sea sees slight to moderate with southeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots, reaching 25 knots at times. And the Pacific Ocean sees slight with southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And to end the news this evening, a recap of our top stories this evening. Wabag District declared a war zone. Construction for staff accommodation at Engau Hospital begins. And a preview of the NSL Grand Final match in late tomorrow. And that's how we end the news this Friday, the 25th of May 2018. On behalf of the EMTV News team, have a pleasant weekend. Good night.